What's up, everyone? Jared Riot reporting in for the Dangers video debut. They just aired the video. I came in, got to see it, wasn't able to be set up before. So you didn't get to catch any of it. Maybe got some of that applause at the very end. But this is Real Young Prodigy. They've taken on a number of social issues, Crown Act, gun violence. They just debuted their new video. And this is the crowd, so I wanted to give y'all a little insight, little view.
Usually, from Grace James Academy, I ask my students, how are they doing today? And you know what they're supposed to say to me? Beautiful and brilliant. So, how are we doing today? Yes, we are. So, welcome. That was a very powerful video. Not only was it powerful, it had a lot to say. And one of the things, this is my first time seeing it, so like when I see something new, oh, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you. When I see something new, I like to take down notes, stuff that comes to my mind. And one of the things I saw, it says, where I grew up, they don't want to be. They don't want to be. But we see up here what they want to be, right? And so that's why we are going to give them permission to be brilliant. We are going to give them the space to challenge the status quo. That is what it means to give them permission to be brilliant. It's for them to create a space to speak their minds. And that is what they're going to do for you today, okay? So they have come up with a list of questions that they're going to pose. And also we're going to open up questions for the audience as well. So we're going to go with the first question. And any three of you, including Dr. Compton. So let's go around real quick and introduce ourselves. We'll start to my right with Dr. Compton.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Compton, principal of the historic Central High School.
I am Tyree Smith. I'm 15. I go to WEB, the Boys Academy.
I'm Andre Flowers. I'm 15 years old and I go to Iroquois High School.
My name is Keyshawn Johnson. I'm 14 years old and I'm a law student at the Historic Black Central High School.
I don't know, Keyshawn, you got that deep voice over there. I like it.
Yes, it is. It's powerful. So the first question that I have for you guys is, can you tell us how gun violence has impacted you personally?
Gun violence have impacted me personally because my cousin Dominique was killed, and he was minding his own business around the stores, and he saw two people arguing, and he tried to end the argument that they was having, and he ended up getting shot for trying to stop them from arguing.
My best friend grew up with somebody that she'll call her brother, and I knew him personally also. He was driving one day with his other brothers. He was caught up in some drama. The people that he was in drama with found their car that they was driving in and was shooting at them, and they crashed into a pole. But they didn't think that was enough, so they came up to him, opened his door, and shot him in the head.
I was home alone July 21st. I was 11 years old and it was 4 days before my 12th birthday. And I've always been like the kind and giving type person. So someone knocked on my door and asked if I could give them some water because they just got done playing basketball. And like I shut the door and the first thing that came to my mind was they trying to rob me. But me just being a giving soul, I locked the door, went to go get the water, and when I came back to give him the water, he pushed me down and put a gun to my head and just rampaged my whole house, put me to gunpoint until my father came.
Had to take a moment. I've been in education for 26 years. And so gun violence is not foreign to me. My husband can attest. I think we get up every morning to watch the news so I can prepare myself for how I will be impacted both directly and indirectly. So needless to say, I cannot account for the many faces that I have engaged with, that have been in either my classroom or in my office as a counselor, as an assistant principal, as a principal, that I've then years later, months later, weeks later, look, and I've lost them. And so the losses are too many for me. It's deadening, and because you stop counting. You stop counting and you get into a mode where you just concentrate on saving. And so my trajectory has changed. I've stopped counting and I've started looking at these faces and saying, how can I save?
Wow, these are, you don't want to take these stories so lightly, right? Because, they have trickle effects, right? So, we hear a young man up here saying he just wants to be a giving person. In his mind, he thought about that for a second, but for the most part, he wants to be able to help community, because really at the end of the day, it's what it's about, is our community. So with that being said, and speaking about community, what do you think are some of the major causes of gun violence? Like, what is causing, based on the situations, the stories that you guys just shared with us, what do you think has caused a person to react in the way they react in the violent manner of using a gun?
It's what they're raised into. I feel like once you see everybody in your neighborhood, they get everything that you always wish you had. It's just, what are they doing to get this money? Some are selling drugs and just in gangs. So once you see that that's what they're doing, you want to do that same thing so you can have the same things that they have.
And it starts with so little things over like little beef and little drama that turns into something too big to where like you can't even stop it no more, because everybody's about fighting each other or shooting with each other and stuff like that.
And it also comes down to like what places you live at. It's like if I live in Victory and there's somebody that lives in Newburgh and somebody saw somebody throwing up Victory gang signs, that Newburgh person will be like, oh yeah, that's my off right there. I'm gonna go handle my business.
Some people do the same things just to be seen. Everybody want an image, but don't want the image for the right reasons.
So I heard somebody say beef. So this word beef, we hear that a lot. Like, so what's the difference between like internet beef, hood beef, street beef, all these different beefs?
So street beef is like, say somebody's from Victory, they throw up V's. Then somebody from Newburgh, they throw down V's. So that's street drama right there. So what they're gonna do, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, to find out who it is that dropped V's. Then they gonna get their hood together and be like, oh yeah, we gotta find him. Yeah, we gotta kill him. He should never been doing that. And then Newburgh hood, they gonna get together and be like, oh no, they not gonna go kill him either, cause we gonna drop him too. So boom, they gonna come together and it's gonna be ended up as a whole shootout type of deal.
And like with the different beefs, I feel like it all lead over to each other. So like if something start on the internet, it's gonna lead into the streets. If something happen in the streets, it's gonna lead over to the internet. So like they're all connected.
So again, I'm here too in a space where I'm learning from your conversations, because I think it's very important, again, that we create space for students to teach us, right? And so as I'm listening to all of this and I'm thinking about, the gun violence, because believe it or not, a lot of I think in Kentucky, the highest percentage of gun violence comes from suicide, right? Not just, because when you think about gun violence, you just think about gangs and shooting up and things like that, but it's a lot deeper than that. So it brings back to me the question of what do we do regarding our mental health? like our young people and what is going on in their heads to say, just because you have shown off the gang sign of a V or, you know, the beef in the streets or whatever. Like, what is really going on up here to say, you know, you did this, so now I'm gonna kill you?
They want the street credit. They want to be known. They want to be seen. They want to be seen as, oh, he's the toughest guy, you shouldn't mess with him. Or he want to be promoted to be a higher person. Huh? Okay.
Oh man, going off of that depression. Some people, if they get to the point where they feel like, I don't even care about my life anymore, and somebody's messing with them, they feel like, oh, I don't even care about my life, why should I care about his?
We see a lot of strong women in these type of neighborhoods that's like where it's more of this type of balance. And I feel like we need more men to raise the men, because a woman can only do so much for a man. So our men need to step up and help us with build the mansion.
I'm telling y'all. He gets me every time. But one of the things that we also have to remember is that as a community, we have to destigmatize mental health. And so I am so blessed to have friends of different ages, races, backgrounds, upbringings. And I had a friend to text me on that very subject, and she said, Tamala, why is everybody so up in arms about the bailout? Talking about the Quintez Brown situation. And, you know, voiced her opinion. And I had to remind her, and I said, you can't be upset over one thing if you wasn't upset over other things. And so I was able to quickly reference other community, social groups that have done the same thing. And I went on to tell her that until we destigmatize mental health and we don't allow Black men to have mental health moments, okay? We don't allow Black men to cry. We don't allow our Black men to be sad. And so what we see in our community is a bubbling of emotions. Go home, shake up a can of pop, open it up and see what happens. It does what? It explodes. It doesn't settle. It doesn't settle just because you have around it. It explodes. And so until we as a community and as a nation, let's just be real, destigmatize mental health for the Black community, in particular for our Black men, this will be an ongoing pandemic. The pandemic didn't start with COVID. Pandemic's been here. It just has a different name. And so we have to recognize that. As a former counselor, I had to recognize it very quickly that we had to destigmatize it. And so that in itself is the challenge.
Absolutely. We all kind of grew up in unfortunately in eras where we have that one family member that, you know, we put back in the room and say they crazy, right? Instead of actually really taking time and trying to figure out what is going on. And with that even being said, how are these young people accessing guns?
I mean, like, it's just so easy, Neil. Like I was saying, like the gang leaders, they don't want their, what's the word? Well, they don't want their other gang members so-called lacking at any moment, anything could happen. So like, it's at this point, you can get a gun from anywhere. Like there's no security, there's nobody stopping the motion of the guns. There's nobody helping these kids build mindsets to where they don't need guns. They could be in school, learning something, getting an education, going to, they don't even gotta go to college, they go to trade school to get a trade. There's nobody building these mindsets, so everybody just runs to guns. They found a way to get a gun, and it's just easy at this point.
And so, somebody can do like, hey, if you go kill this man for me, I'll give you $5K right now. What they gonna do? They gonna go find that man and kill him. Straight for him and get that money. They want money. They want the power. They want to be seen. but they don't want to be seen in a good way. They want to be seen as, oh yeah, I'm a killer, da 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 da, stuff like that.
So how do we, when you say that they want to be seen, not in a good way, but in a bad way, what do you think has put in their head that, you know, being seen in a bad way is better than being seen any other way that they could be seen?
They don't want to be seen as weak. Or they don't want to be seen as, oh yeah, I'm not like him, I'll actually do it, or I'm actually about it. Like, they don't want to be seen as getting good grades and taking out the trash, stuff like that. They don't have that. They have let's say the older brother is going the same direction as he's going, so of course he's gonna look up to his older brother and do the same thing. Be a few steps right behind him.
And going on top of that, you could also parents might keep guns for their protection. Like, they have a license to carry a gun, and a kid might see their parents where they put their gun at, and they might go get it. And also they might just be afraid because they might be scared of somebody, and maybe somebody has threatened them, and then they felt the need to go get the parent's gun and go handle it themselves instead of talking to an adult about it.
They just live in the moment. Like, they want that spark in that moment, but they never think of, it's one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. Since I'm in law, it's something that I learned. You gotta begin with the end in mind. So where would this end, like, where would you end up with doing these things? So your consequences, you going in these games, it's 2 things, dead or in jail. Once you find the mindset to nah bro, I ain't gonna go there, I know it ain't safe. Nah, I ain't gonna pick up his gun, I ain't gonna go kill him, there's no point. Once you find that mindset, you're gonna go farther than that person that wanna go kill that person because you got that better mindset. It's all about your mindset, it's all about your thinking process.
That's really good. And so how do we do that? How do we change the mindset? Because a gun in your hand is going to be different than a gun in somebody's hand that doesn't look like you, right? So when we think historically about guns and access to guns and the laws that are in place for certain people to have guns, what needs to happen to help our young people understand and see how the system is setting them up?
All right, so I feel like there need to be some type of organization or program like that, like anybody that ever been in jail for these reasons. I feel like we need to start a program for our youth to go talk to them and see what's going on with the real system and what the outcome of their actions will be.
They need somebody to look up to. Somebody positive, like somebody that looks just like them. Yeah, somebody that they can talk to when they think about going the wrong direction. Somebody that can actually tell them and be like, no, don't go this direction. Actually turn around and go the right direction.
Like my cousin, he takes kids that don't have a father figure in their life, or they just want an adult that they really look up to. He takes them, he teaches them lessons, takes them out to eat, plays games with them, like that's a real family. He helps them get through their mental problems, and I feel like it probably helps them a lot because they type of kids that go to like what people consider bad schools, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what's right and what's wrong, and that's what my cousin does. He teaches them what is right and what's wrong.
It's just like Nene and T. It's just deeper than music. Just because with the Real Young Prodigies, that's just the outside. On the inside, they build bond with us, show us right from wrong. It's bigger than music. Like everybody just think we're on the stage and just going to do music and shows and just having fun. But it's way deeper than that. They help us with mental health. They just give us a lot of opportunities that's bigger than music.
And I'm so glad you said that, because we find that we get in spaces and people just want to see a performance, right? And what T and Tyree are doing is very important, because not only are you guys performing, you are writing, you're creating, you're learning history, you're learning how to move throughout these systems, right? So what I am hearing is that we need more adults to sit back and listen to our kids. Intentionally, right? Intentionally listen, right? And I am now going to open up this time for questions in the audience. I don't want to be the only person, asking the questions. And even though these are some of the questions that the students have come up with, but is there anybody in the audience that has any questions?
Thank you. Hello. Congratulations on the release of your video.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So my name is Christian Lucas. I am the writer and producer of a play titled The Black Boy Narratives, where I'm going around Louisville and I'm asking boys, particularly black boys, just their thoughts and opinions. Just like you said, I don't think adults listen enough. So I want to take this opportunity to particularly or specifically ask Mr. McMillan and Mr. Johnson, what do you think, as a black young man, what do you think you need from adults? Like, what can we give you that we're not giving you?
I feel like just sit and listen and not take things out of proportion. Like, a lot of kids will come to their parents and probably talk to them about something that's going on, and their parents will yell at them or like take things way bigger than what they expected. Like, they came to you pouring their heart out, trying to ask for your opinion, and you're over here yelling and doing all of this, and it's just in their mind they're like, I'm not gonna come to you no more. I don't feel like you would. I feel like you will do punishment instead of helping me more. So probably just sit and listen and not take things out of proportion.
We need better bonds, and we just need listening ears. Sometimes, like, it's not all about, because a lot of parents put their, like, they'll be like, I already been through it, why would you do that? But we need you to be able to understand why we did it. It's not just what we did, it's why, it's a reason behind it.
Hello, my name is Pamela Dixon, and I'm a teacher at a wonderful school here in Jefferson County, and I teach math. And I had the opportunity, I think it was last week, in my class, instead of starting the class with math, I decided I was going to talk to my students. And it just so happens this class is all African American young men, same age you all are. And I asked one of them about a career. What do you want to do for your career? And he said to me, I don't expect to make it until I'm 21. And that shocked me. So I looked at the rest of the young men and I said, what do you think about this? Each one of those young men agreed with him. I didn't know what to say. I was shocked. These are smart young men. When I teach a math concept, they get it, and if they don't mind me teaching it over again to them. But I need help on how to talk to my young men that tell me they are not going to make it until 21 years of age.
I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for them having that, like, that's what goes on. But there is a lot of death at young ages, just like the young man that got murdered on the bus stop. So it's hard to even vision yourself past a certain age because of what goes on so much in our community.
Yeah, going about that, the system is just messed up. How the laws are set, they're specifically to try to put black people in jail, and it's either do or die when it usually comes down to the hood. So you either do it or you die, and if you do it, you go to jail.
And when you look at situations like Breonna Taylor, David McAtee, Ahmaud Arbery, it's hard to even envision yourself. Like, how are we supposed to call the police when we need help, but those are the same people that we are getting killed by.
And then, going off of what Keyshawn said, with specifically African Americans, if we can't trust the police, we don't go to police, we handle it ourselves, and that's what they want us to do. If we don't come to the police, if we go to the police, they're not gonna be there. It's in our mind. They don't care about us. So what we do, we take matters into our own hands and just handle it.
Yes, welcome. I'm glad to be here. I was invited, and I like what I'm here. So my name is Mo Ali from originally from Philadelphia. I have an organization here called Safe Key Reboot Program, dealing with young men and women, young ladies from 8 to 18. So mental health, you guys are on the right target, mental health. And if there's anything that my organization can do, I'd like to talk with you guys. We're in development right now as we speak. We're like 35% completed, and it's at 4208 Bishop Lane. With regards to guns, we definitely gotta, take our streets, back, get in control of things. These guns are just not falling in our neighborhoods and things like that there. So it's definitely a conspiracy. And us as African Americans, we definitely need to keep our eyes open. And even with young ladies, knowing, what to do, what not to do. So just applaud yourself, and I'll be willing to talk to anybody after the program's over.
Thanks for that, Alan.
Congratulations, y'all are doing great things. I'm
Thank
really activists. But I want to ask, and particularly the principal, in regards to a lot of things that's happening in the home or in the street, it spills over into the class, into the schools, and you'll find students being suspended. With that being said, how are they dealing with that? I understand that it's protocol, and you have to go through the motions as far as some get suspended, some get to go to alternative schools, but dealing what brought that on as far as working with students when they bring that, get them involved with an organization, meeting them where they are in regards to that. And then we're talking about the men, but a lot of young girls are being initiated into gangs, they're being raped, and so a lot of things are undercover and is not being talked about. As far as you young people, how do you feel about SROs coming into your school? Do you think it's necessary to have police force or some other type of mechanism as far as dealing with what's going on in the schools? So I asked them 3 questions.
Yes, ma'am, you did. And we're going to unpack them. I think the first question that you asked is, as a building leader, and we have some other leaders in the house. I see you. I see you. Yes. And so I think we can all attest that as leaders, we have to be very, very intentional. Okay? And what I mean by intentional is that the one thing that I have, and Keyshawn's probably over here like, oh Lord, here she goes. I've been very, very intentional about is that we have a restorative approach. Okay? Not everything is from a punitive lens. Okay? So, for example, Keyshawn, I know he loves this. So if I have a young lady or a young man that comes to school out of dress code, well, technically, that's supposed to be punitive. But at Central High School, I'll foster the culture that how can we fix it? Because I understand that there are layers to this. Like the kids say there's levels to this. It's layers to this. And in some cases, when I start rolling back the layers, I didn't get to go wash my clothes, Dr. Compton, and it was better for me to be out of compliance and be here than in compliance and maybe ridiculed by peers because my appearance is not kept. So all the young ladies know in my office, Dr. Compton has hair supplies on deck because I'm a firm believer if our hair ain't right, we ain't right. We show out. So we have to have that restorative approach, right? And this is the thing that we have to give. We have to give educators grace. Okay? We have to give them grace. Not everybody came from a story. Not everybody has heard a story. And so we have to understand that the same level of grace that we want people to give us, that we have to give educators that grace. I tell our students all the time, and I tell Keyshawn, what do I say? I won't always get it right, but it's from my heart. This ain't hard work. This is heart work. And so that's the restorative approach that many educators are taking in their building. I know I can speak specifically to mine. We try to fix it. We try to address it. We coach it. We nurture it. We water it. We grow it. And guess what? Sometimes, if we still can't get it right, he'll let you know. Yeah, I'm like mama. I'm going to give you 1 shot. I'm going to give you 2. But on 3, there comes consequences because I know out there, they have consequences. So I have to prepare you for that too. And so it is truly a restorative approach that we take in really surrounding our kids when it comes to things from the outside, trickling out on the inside. We just have to roll back the layers, and guess what? I only get 187 days to do it. So what does that mean? I need partners. I need partners. Just like football has an off season, but what are they doing in the off season? They're still training. And so I say to parents all the time, hey, my season is 187 days, but I need you to help me in the off season. It's a 365 model. And so we need that wraparound services. Wraparound services just ain't about what JCPS provides. Let's be real. Wraparound services is the church, the community, the neighborhood barber, the hairdresser, all of that. That's wraparound services. The work that Stachel's doing with the Hope Bus, that's wraparound services. We need all of that. The work of Tyree and T, that's wraparound services. And so we ask grace, and we ask for you to partner with us. I'm going to turn it over because I love when this conversation is from the voice of the students when we talk about school resource officers. But before we can address it, let's go back to the original history of why there were ever a need for school resource officers. Once upon a time, I like to open up like I'm telling a children's story. Once upon a time, resource officers were not to police the inside of the building. They were there to keep the outside influences from entering on the inside. Somewhere along the story, it changed. And school resource officers were then viewed as these people that police the inside of the building. So, before we can even get to is there a need, we have to really address the true purpose of what they were intended to do. So you have to be a historian of this work, okay? So we can't go to board meetings and talk about what we don't need or what we won't. We have to be historians of the work. So then when we go to the board meeting and we say, Madam Chair, Dr. Polio, there may be a need, but the purpose needs to shift. Understand the purpose, and that the purpose somewhere along the line shifted. And so I love to give that history for those who may not know the history and the true meaning of why there was ever school resource officers. They were meant to be partners. They were meant to be the same police officers you see TikToking with the students playing basketball. They were meant to be a friend, a collaborative partner with educators. They were ensuring that when the kids crossed Central High School at 7:40, 7:39, because you can't be tardy, that they were the ones standing at the door saying, come on, Keyshawn, you know Dr. Compton be tripping when you late, come on, get in here. That was the true intention of this. And so I can't speak to how and when it changed, but I'm a person that likes to approach things from what is the history. What was the true intended purpose when this first started back in the 80s? And then understand, is there a need for it now as we look at 2022?
I'm sorry, before we move on, I do want, there's a leader in the audience that is the principal of Minor Daniel Academy. I really would like to hear from her because I just find it very fascinating that when we open up schools like the Du Bois School or Grace James Academy of Excellence, we get a lot of complaints. Like, why is this school this? Why is that? But no one wants to recognize that there's brilliance even in Minor Daniel Academy of Excellence, right? And those students as well have a lot to say, but they're not complaining about a school like that because in their mind, they have pushed them to the side. Well, we don't need to push them to the side.
That's right.
So good afternoon. I am Stephanie Ward. I am the principal of Minor Daniels Academy. And so alternative school is hard work, and it is intentional work. And so I have some great people who are part of my team who are here today, who are a part of that great intentional work. And so when I think about alternative school, I think about restoring our students, reclaiming our students, and setting them up for brilliance. Because they are smart, they are intelligent, they know more than we will ever know. And so, like Ms. McCormick said, sometimes those kids are pushed to the side. And so my job as their leader is to restore, to reclaim, and to push them towards excellence.
Thank you, Ms. Barr.
Musical mic.
So, sorry, I just had to make sure I brought that out because I really don't want people to forget about, you know, those schools in JCPS. They're all our babies.
Let's be honest, those schools are led by Black women.
Yes. Absolutely. And as we're being clear and talking about history, knowing the history, listen, y'all know what they're trying to do with these bills they are passing to not have conversation about history. Yeah. It is going to take every last one of us in this space as a community to fight against those laws that they're trying to pass. Period. And they want to continue for there to be gun violence. They want these things to continue to happen for our babies.
Yes, they do.
Because they don't care. Let's just be honest. They do not care. But we gotta care. Sorry, Keisha, go ahead.
Back to Ms. Rhonda's question about RS. I feel like there's only certain schools, personally, this is a personal, personal thought, like you said. I feel like there's only certain schools that need them. Like Central, I was talking to Coach Dansler, and he said that we have about 1,300 kids in our school. Within that 1,100 of us never been in trouble. Well, 1,100 of the students never been in trouble. Within that small amount that have been in trouble, they only been in trouble once. So I feel like Central do not need one. We have a great security team. There are other schools that do, but JCPS as a whole, if we do put someone in every school, we need somebody that is gonna take their time to build bonds and relationships with the students in the school. We need someone that is trusted by the students and not like everybody in the school as students, adults, administrators, even our principal. We need someone that we can trust with our safety and that we coming in this building every single day. We need someone that we know that's gonna like be our superhero when somebody try to enter into our school and take away our safety.
So as y'all know, I go to Iroquois High School. So when everybody hear Iroquois, they think about it as a bad school. It's ghetto, it's dirty, it's trashy. Iroquois High School is actually a really good school, and I'm here to admit it. But I feel like when they want to put those officers in there, it's just going to take our reputation down more than it is already. I'm going to give credit to Dr. Tall because she is building it up little at a time. And I love Dr. Tall with all my heart. But I feel like at Iroquois, I feel like we shouldn't always be talked about. Our reputation get brought down lower because when I do tell somebody I go to Iroquois, they be like, ugh, the dirty eye, you go there, you go there. Yes, I go there, and I'm not ashamed to say I actually go to Iroquois.
And like Keyshawn said, I feel like we should only have police officers in some schools. Like, I go to the Boys Academy, and one of our counselors there, he's not a police officer, but he likes to think he is around our school. He thinks he's our security. And he tells us every day when we walk in the morning, whenever he comes to our classroom, if anybody ever comes through those doors and intention to harm y'all, I promise y'all I'm the first person that will be there to block any bullet before it gets to y'all. And he's the type of person, every time we go in the morning, we say, hey, yo, what's up, what's up? Anytime we have a problem personally, we like to go to him because he understands us. And sometimes when we come in sleepy, he might let us stay in his office, get like a 10-minute nap in or something like that. He always has snacks in his office for us, and he always just cares about us. When we act up in the classroom, he comes in there, takes us out in the hallway, gives us a 5-minute speech, and then we back to what we was doing, focusing, locked in on schoolwork. And he doesn't threaten us by like calling our parents, because in a way, he is like our parent when we at school. He looks out for us for the most part. More of a mentor. Yeah, he's more of a mentor.
And thank you guys so much. With that being said, that's the important piece, right? Like mentors, SROs, you know, and I agree with the students. All schools don't need an SRO, point blank period. But I will also say those SROs need to be vetted. You need to make sure we have the right SROs in those spaces, because, I mean, that's why community, see, we are so individualistic, okay? Let's just get there for a second. We are too busy being concerned about me. We have too much of a me mentality. We need to get back to a space where we truly build community. And community is what we need right now. We need for each of us to be looking out for everybody's kids, right? Because it's going to take all of us. You know, we always say take a village. We got to mean it, right? We got to absolutely mean it. So I want to thank the Speed Art Museum for this space. I absolutely, most importantly, want to thank these beautiful and brilliant students. It's important that we continue to keep creating space for them to use their voices. So important, they have so much to say. I want to thank.
She's got the mic.
All right. It was hard to get this mic back. I just want to tell you all, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited about this release. But more importantly, I think that those who are impacted by our issues should be leaders in the decision making. And I want to see how you all feel. I want to have young people a part of my administration and a part of my transition team when I become our next mayor of Louisville. And Parish, right, because I love the Young Prodigies and they know that I'm all up in their stuff. Thank you, and thank you, everyone. But I want to have you a part of the decision making. I want to have you having real teeth and power, and also a part of the JCPS school board if they allow that to be so. I think that we have to stop making decisions for you and have you be a part of that. I want to see what you think, that if we have 15 to 20-year-olds as a part of decision making, do you think that would make a difference in the choices you have? And then the last thing is, please name something that brings you joy in this life right now while things are hard.
Well, something that makes me happy is just rocking out on the stage, releasing all my emotions on the stage, and just putting smiles on other people's faces. Because every time, not even being cocky, just being honest. Every time we perform, I see at least 10 people smiling because of our performance. And I feel like I don't want a specific career when I'm older. I just want to put a positive impact on others. So me being able to make people smile with just me having fun and me being who I am, I feel like that's the best thing that I can do.
That's not cocky, that's joy.
Something that makes me happy when it's like hard times is Raw Wave. No, I'm just playing. It's actually
about Raw Wave.
Okay. Raw Wave, he is my favorite rapper, singer. I feel like that's my husband forever. And I listen to his music because some of his songs I can actually relate to. So when I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. So I'm feeling the music, and he just helps me move. He helps me express myself even when I'm by myself. Also, the YP. I love getting on a stage and interacting with the crowd, especially the little ones. I come to them, I dance with them and everything. And I love seeing people smile. I love making everybody happy. And, yeah.
Yeah. Something that makes me happy is playing sports. When I'm down, I like to go outside, get some shots up, and then probably also kicking it with my friends, knowing that even when I'm having a bad day, they having a good day, they always making me laugh, and they always cheer me up, and especially hanging around YP when and then when I hang around YP and I'm mad, they'll come up to me and like they'll make me laugh, or it's something funny they'll just do and they don't even notice that I'm mad, but I start laughing, and then you right.
You work all over your face.
Yeah, everybody knows when I'm mad, but when they all notice when I'm mad, they do something funny to cheer me up.
What about you, Dr. Compton? What brings you joy?
Oh man.
Seeing the kids at Central smile.
It does, because I don't think, and I don't want to speak on behalf of the other educators in the room, but I think when we were in college and we were aspiring to be educators, we, they always ask that question, what's your why? What's your why? And I'm like, man, what's the 30-second elevator speech? But really, it's very simplified. It is being able to walk into my job every day and know God only gave me 3 biological, but man, I have like 1,300. And it is an awesome task. It is a ministry. It is a ministry. But that brings me so much joy. And then my support system. I mean, I have an amazing husband, 2 daughters here. One's off at college. And so just watching them live life, just from the loud days to the quiet days to Aaliyah tumbling through the hallway days. I mean, just watching your kids live life. If that doesn't bring you joy, then come holler at me.
Right.
Let's talk.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, YP. Thank you, Tyree and Antonio T. Taylor. And
the director of the video, Dantana. The director of the video, Dantana Smith, is here. Can we give him some?
Thank you for, oh yeah, the video was dope. Yes, thank you so much. Dope. Thanks again to Dean Otto, and
Can you tell everyone that,
I do want to recognize Miss Bard and Mia Grundy. They allowed me to come to Minor Daniels, and tears rolled down my face. Those students are the ones, along with my students, who came up with these questions. There are some other questions that I feel like need to be talked about. Like, does anyone in here know about the Louisville Shade Room? Parents. See, they know things that I believe we need to have more spaces for kids to talk about that maybe us as adults don't know. And so, Miss Bard, Mia, thank you so much. And Mia, I don't want to tell her story, but Mia is thebomb.com, but her son was tragically killed. And so now she gives her time and is the parent coordinator at Minor Daniels. So, I mean, we just have to recognize that Minor Daniels and the schools that are in our community need us, and that we need to recognize that there's brilliance at those schools too. Thank you.
yeah, so please let us not forget about the schools that are not often talked about. I'm so serious about that. Those schools need our love too. They need our attention. And again, thank you all for being here. And remember, be brilliant. That means that is for you to take up space and challenge the status quo, challenge the system. Use your voice. We need everybody's voice in this space to support these young people, because this is our future. We say that all the time. I believe in our future. Well, listen, if they are, we need to create space. Yes, and we have to recognize their joy. Everything ain't doom and gloom, right? We gotta create space for joy and happiness for them. So thank you all for being here again. Thank you, T and Tyree and Dean Otto and Steve Art and everybody for being here. And most importantly, our beautiful and brilliant young people.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
I know some people showed up a little bit late and missed the video, so we're going to play it one more time, too, for the folks who weren't able to be there.
Thank y'all again.
Alright, so if you are just tuning in, we are live at Speed Art Museum for Real Young Prodigy's Danger music video release. Just had a little Q&A with several members of the Real Young Prodigy. We missed the video at the beginning, so we're going to see it now. There we go. Should be live online soon. I'll get those details for you, but here we are.
Just for selling dimes. Now they in the prison cell and they doing prison time. Officer, please listen to me. I know that he did the crime, but this is all the white we know that we were given to survive. Everybody wanna be a chopper and a rapper, so I'ma speak the word like Malcolm X. Still in the unsaid, this is reality, so I hope they get reality checks. Y'all show us all the whole thing. This is why all of our mental events. Where I grew up, we got natural elite, but they don't all make it like hella flex. Where I grew up, they all wanna be gangsters. Where I grew up, they all wanna be bangers. Where I grew up, they all wanna be slangers.
Thank y'all.
So, yeah, to close out, again,
we are having a silent auction. We have a basket right here of YP. And we are having a silent auction. So if you would like to donate anything.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. We are having a silent auction. We have some of our YP gear that we are raising money. Some of it is for Keyshawn Johnson. So we welcome your donations. Silent auction. Thank you so much.
Give me 2 seconds, everyone. So again, we are live here at the Speed Art Museum for the Real Young Prodigy's Danger music video release. If you're not familiar with the Real Young Prodigy, they are a local youth music group. Tons of young adults that get together and they write music about social issues for the most part. So this particular song is about gun violence and how it affects the youth of Louisville, Kentucky. Part of the music video was actually shot on the corner where Tyree Smith lost his life to gun violence at a bus stop. That made national news several months ago. The Real Young Prodigies have also been a major part in making sure that the Crown Act has been passed on a local level. We're working to get it passed on a state level as well. If you're not familiar with the Crown Act actually makes it illegal for schools and employers to discriminate due to natural or protective hair, which happens with people of color. It's just the way that their hair grows. But familiarize yourself with the Real Young Prodigies because they got a lot of really cool shit going on. I am going to find the link for the video as soon as I know that it is live online, and I'll get it posted so you can see the real video instead of just the projector. Yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and drop it live so anybody that is watching can go ahead and review the footage. Really, really cool video, guys. So make sure that you do catch it whenever I get it up. But we're going to go ahead and sign off. So until next time, everybody stay strong and stay safe.